Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for A Quiet Place Part 2, which is the sequel to the big surprise of 2018, A Quiet Place, and is once again directed by John Krasinski. Who would ever thought that both John Krasinski and Jordan Peele, two comedic actors, would become masters of horror? Hey, good for them. And they made some great movies. So the opening of the movie, before we even get to the title card, is a prequel to how these monsters came to Earth and how everything just went south so quickly. And then once the title card hits, it picks up directly where the first movie left off, where Emily Blunt is now taking her kids and her newborn child away from their home to try to find a way to kill these monsters once and for all. Because if you remember, at the end of the last movie, they found their weakness. So when I reviewed the first movie in 2018, I said that I really liked it. It was very suspenseful, but the ending just didn't really work for me. That movie did such a great job at building up the suspense and the mystery of what these things were, that by the time we actually saw them, I was very let down because it looks just like the Cloverfield monster mixed with the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. And it just really painted a clear picture that Americans aren't that creative when it comes to designing monsters. And plus the CG on those creatures were pretty wonky, and I don't know, it's still a really good movie, but the ending reveal just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So now we've got this sequel, and I didn't think at all that the first movie needed a sequel. I thought, well, that was a really good suspenseful horror movie, and an inventive one above that, but I don't think I need to see a sequel. And much like with In the Heights, I saw this trailer in front of practically everything in the before times before the pandemic officially kicked into high gear. I just got really sick of seeing that trailer. And I should mention this right now, a lot of my colleagues actually saw the movie last year before it got delayed and before the shutdowns happened. I didn't. And I gotta say, much like with In the Heights, for as annoyed as I got with seeing the trailers in front of every movie I saw, A Quiet Place 2 is not only great, but I actually think it's a superior sequel. And I'll tell you why I think this is a better movie than the original. For one, I'm over the monster designs. Yeah, the CGI is still kind of crappy, but now that we know what these monsters look like, I've just grown accustomed to them. And despite my criticisms of the design, they're still pretty intimidating and very threatening. Even though they show up on screen constantly and there's no real hiding the monster scenario like with Jaws or the first movie, they're still intimidating, they're still scary. And the movie has as many suspenseful moments as the first one, but in a different way. The first one's suspense came from, we don't know what these things are, but we're told that they are dangerous since they're attracted to sound. This time it's, we know what these things are and what they're capable of, it's just a matter of surviving. And the performances are still fantastic. Emily Blunt is still just as good as she was in the first movie. Millicent Simmonds as the daughter is still really good as well. And I really welcome the addition of Cillian Murphy. He's just trying to survive. And he doesn't believe at all that these things can be killed or can be stopped. And it's not until the movie progresses where he starts to become more of a believer and is willing to take this chance. And by the time we get to the end of the movie, it'll actually give you some hope. It'll give you faith in humanity. Yeah, I just felt like this movie had a better ending than the first one, which is probably the main reason why I prefer this to the first one, because the first movie was good, but the ending just kind of left me with a sour taste in my mouth. This one actually has a great ending, and not only that, but it has to have a sequel, which that might be another small criticism of the movie, and I mean small. It's that this movie, unlike the first one, doesn't feel as self-contained. The first movie did end on a cliffhanger, sure, but like I said beforehand, it could be one of those things where that was a great horror movie, and I don't think we need a sequel. With the way this movie ends, it feels like the middle chapter to this big conclusion that we really have to see, sort of like the Lord of the Rings of horror movies, except not 3 hours long. This movie is under 2 hours, which is so good. It flows at a brilliant pace. But again, that's a very, very small complaint, because The Two Towers feels like that middle chapter where not a whole lot's concluded and we have to get to this final movie, but Two Towers is still regarded as a great movie, and A Quiet Place Part 2 is a great movie, and one that I'd say is worth seeing in your lifetime. I know this movie came out weeks ago, and I am late on this review, but I'd be kicking myself if I didn't review this film, because it is one of my favorites of the year. And it's right now in my top 3. We'll see how the rest of the year plays out, but as it stands, we're almost to the end of June. We're halfway through the year 2021, and I already have 6 movies that could fill a top 10 list. So if the rest of the year ends up being great for movies, then that's gonna make me happy. And there you go, that's my review for A Quiet Place Part 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I wanna know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one. Hello everyone, I just wanted to say thank you all for watching my review for A Quiet Place Part 2. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, go check out my Twitch channel, and support me on Patreon. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.